Hello, everybody. This is Dawn Black. I am a local realtor in the area, but I'm also the host of Meet the Expert on the Block live stream that I do once a month, showcasing one of our local businesses and letting that you get to know them a little bit better. So I will be introducing my special guest in a moment, but right now, what I would like to do is just go through a couple little housekeeping items and let people know a little bit about what I do here. So first off, I am going to say that if you like these episodes that I'm doing, showcasing our local businesses in the area, because after all, we all need to support our local businesses, please follow and like. And I'm hoping that this popped up on my realtor feed, but if not, you can always go to my personal. So I'm making that note now. I do this. You can comment. You can, in the comments of your feed, you can just let me know you're there. Because I do this because I want you to learn and get to know my special guest even better. So please, if you're out there, give me some thumbs up, give me a little hearts. So interaction is key. Comment. Let us know you're out there. So what I would like to do is, first off, I am going to introduce my special guest, and I am actually putting his QR code in the upper left-hand corner of the screen so that if you would like to connect with him, get more information from him, you can scan that QR code and definitely connect. And I'm also going to put his information on the bottom of the screen. So I'd like to introduce my special guest, Raj Sehgal. He is known the AI guy. So anybody out there may know who he is. He is the huggable guy. He loves to give hugs. So if you ever see him, get ready. You're going to get a big bear hug from him. So I want to welcome you, Raj, on this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. Raj, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dawn, for inviting me on the podcast. I'm really looking forward to sharing all my experience, all my knowledge with your audience. And I would like to say thank you, Dawn, to you for actually giving me this identity of the AI guy. Because if it was not for you, I would not have this identity. It was you who introduced me to fellow SBA members as Meet Raj. He is the AI guy. The moment I heard that, something clicked inside me, and I realized, this is what I need. So thank you so much, Dawn, for giving me that identity.
You are so welcome. If it's anything to benefit you and your business, I'm always here to help you. And like I said, we got to support each other. So I'm glad I was able to help you out.
Yeah,
I'm really
absolutely.
honored.
Thank you. Yeah.
So Raj, I would like you to do one thing. You're on location, right? You're
Yes.
on location. So if you could let everyone know where you are right now and where you're doing your
Yeah,
live stream.
absolutely. So I am at the 25 North Co-working in Schaumburg. They have a 11th floor building. It's called the Amara Club. They are a very, very wonderful co-working space. If you're interested to have any office space over here, they're also a very active member of the SBA. They also sponsor a lot of SBA events, especially the coffee and contacts. And they were generous enough to make me the ambassador where I can use their facilities. They were generous enough to give me this room where I am doing this podcast today. So yeah, if anybody is interested, feel free to stop by 25 North Co-working.
It is the staff is friendly and it is a very nice facility.
Yes,
So definitely
absolutely.
check that out.
Yeah.
So Raj, what I'm going to ask you to do for me is how can people give your contact information? Let
Yeah.
people know how they can get in touch with you.
I think the best way to get in touch with me is to go to my website. It is www.theaiguy.dev. DEV. Over there, you have all the information, all the connection to my social media, all the information about who I am, what I'm about. If you want to book a call with me, there is some assessments that you can do. There are some products that I make it available. So my website is the best place for you to reach me.
Awesome. So just before we get into all the questions and things like that, I want to check and see who's out there. So everybody, if you are out there watching this, put in the feed where you're watching, where you're coming in from, so that we can say hi. So I just want to acknowledge all of these people who are joining us on our show. So if you're out there, put your location of where you are in your feed. I'd appreciate it. So right now, who do we have here? And there might be people that Raj.
Yeah.
So let's see. Okay, first, hi, this is Ash. Do
Oh,
you
hey
know
Ash.
Ash? Oh,
Yes, I know.
awesome.
I just met with him today morning. So hey Ash,
Well,
thank you so much for joining.
oh, excellent. Well, thank you, Ash, for joining us on this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. And oh my, we've got Chris Block, my husband, who's my number one
Oh,
fan,
nice.
looking forward to the show. Well, we're happy
Thanks,
that
Chris.
you're
Thanks for
on the
joining.
show. And here hold on a second. Hold on. A lot of people are jumping on today. So we have Connie Lewis, UK Newcastle. Thank you so much for joining on today's episode. We have Inverness. We've got somebody coming in on from the Inverness area. Excellent. I'm glad you were able to join us. Oh, our buddy Jamie Fox with
Yeah.
Fox Valley,
Yes.
Glass. I'm glad, Jamie Leland, that you're here joining us on this episode. And we also have Nancy and Steve. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
thanks
joining
guys for
us
joining.
here. Yeah, thank you. And we have Owen Velasky. He says hi. So hi right
Hey
back
guys.
at you. Thank you again all for joining this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. I'm happy that you could all be there. And if you're out there, we're gonna jump in now into getting to know Raj a little bit better, so that you can know his what he does, how he does it, and what his thoughts and feelings are, because he's an AI guy, and we're just happy to have him on the show right now to talk about it. Because after all, AI is everywhere. Everybody's using it. Everybody's talking about it. And how we use it in our work. We use it to communicate. We use it as just for actually to help us get our business, our work done, and as a time saving tool. So
Yeah.
we're here, and I'm excited to introduce my special guest, Raj. He's been around for a long time. He's a member of the SBA. And what I want to ask you, Raj, before you even started with all of this AI, okay, before you were a part of the AI movement,
Mhm.
can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing and a little bit about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in the vibrant city of Mumbai. I came to the United States in the year 2000. I joined a company in Chicago. It is now called Flexera. Through all the mergers and
Oh
acquisition, it
yeah.
started with Install Shield, then it kind of went through mergers through Macrovision, Acreso. Now it is Flexera. But even through all that, I stayed with them for 20 years. I built a lot of enterprise class software. I built managed teams. I developed as well some of them. And then, yeah, it was all of my experience before becoming the AI guy was in the enterprise space where I built enterprise class software, worked with lot of Fortune 100 companies, building products that they use. And I had a good set of team in India, in US, in UK, as well as in Australia that I collaborated with them. So it was a very, very rich experience for me. And then only late last year is when I actually started to feel like, I need to get into this AI thing that is actually picked up and grown so exponentially. And there is so much skepticism around it that I need to somehow come in and fill the gap. So that's what I would say. Before AI guy, very much in the corporate world, doing a lot of corporate customers, working with them, developing enterprise class software.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. So okay, so you were in the corporate world and all that. So what was that moment where you said, okay, you know what, this is it. This is where I'm going to put all of it into AI. What
Yeah.
was that aha moment?
Yeah, so absolutely. So I think working in corporate, it brought me so much success in my life, and I'm so grateful for all that world. But after a certain point, I came in my life where I felt like something is missing in my life, honestly. I went through a lot of depression. People call it midlife crisis. I used to think it's a myth until it's not, right? It affected me very badly. I went through a really dark time, but I came out, I would say more vital than ever. I was 311 pounds. Then I went through like a lot of the depression phase. Then I started running a lot of mindfulness practices and then storytelling. So one thing that I liked with all my journey, I understood the power of community with my storytelling community, my running community, my karaoke community. And then I decided, what? I want to have the same experience in my work as well. And then I decided I want to go into AI because when ChatGPT came out, everything immediately changed. There was a major shift when ChatGPT came out. Overnight, you must have seen numbers where it became like the biggest growing tool ever. I felt like, this is more like the internet moment, the mobile moment that we had. And I realized that there is going to be a lot of anxiety that comes in with using AI, with understanding AI, a lot of skepticism with AI. So I felt like I should be the one with my experience using it to actually help local businesses give back to the community, take away a lot of the skepticism and fear. That is the moment I said, ChatGPT is out. This is the first time that the end users are actually going to be interacting directly with AI. It is no longer just for bigger corporations, bigger research labs. Everyday people can actually start using AI. But with that, you will get a lot of fear and skepticism. I felt like, that's the moment I decided. I want to fill in the gap, take away the fear, explain them what it is not, how to make use of it. And then I niched it down to local businesses so that I can actually give back to the community as well. And that is the reason I joined the Schaumburg Business Association.
Yeah.
And that's where I met you, Dawn.
Yes.
It was such an
Yeah.
amazing journey with you so far.
Yes, well, thank you for joining the SBA. We're proud to have you to be a member of the Schaumburg Business Association.
Yeah.
For someone watching right now who hears AI and feels, overwhelmed, how would you explain in simple terms? How would you explain it?
Yes, so I think we should honestly think of AI as any other tool that you have in your arsenal. It is not magic in every sense of the word. Think of it like it is a pattern recognition system that has been trained at massive scale. That's the best way for me to explain. It is a pattern recognition system. It has learned over huge amounts of data. It has been trained on huge amount of data. But if you ask me how is it trained, I would like to give you a very, very simple example of how a computer is trained. I like to always give the example of converting from miles to kilometers. So we as humans, we intuitively know that 1 mile is 1.6 kilometers. But how do you teach that to AI, right? AI doesn't know about distance. It has never traveled. It has never driven in a car. So how do you teach AI? So what you do is you basically give it input 1 mile, output is 1.6. 2 mile, output is 1 to 3.2. You give it the sequence of input and output, and then you use some mathematics. I don't want to get into all the mathematics layer. You give it all the math layer where it actually learns, it starts to see patterns in this sequence of numbers from miles to kilometers. Let's say you fed it from 1 mile up until 100 miles, the kilometer equivalent. It starts to understand patterns between these numbers using all the mathematics and all that. And then in the end, what you get is basically a model, right? So it has learned, that's what we call a model. It has looked at the patterns and it has learned about a model. Now that you have a model that it has learned, now feed it any number that it has not seen. If you have trained it from 1 to 100, now feed it like 200. It has not seen before. Let's see if it can predict the output that it comes from that. That's how you know the power of the model. I have built something which can convert from miles to kilometers. Give me any information now. And then when it gives the output, it doesn't give you, it gives you output in probabilities. If you feed 100 kilometers, it'll give you 160. It'll tell you, I am 99% sure, 99.9% sure. It is always going to output in probabilistic terms. It is never going to give you in actual concrete terms. So that's where it's up to you now as a business, how much is acceptable to me. If is the prediction of 99.9% accurate for me, is 90% good for me. It all depends on the business, but that's how it is trained. Now imagine this level of training, but over language. Now you're feeding it documents, you're feeding it all the information on the internet. it has learned about every single thing under the sun, any literature you can think of. Now you have a model which can understand human language, human emotions, the way humans think, all the nuances of all the different languages. It can actually talk to you because it understands human emotions, it understands human language. But one thing to note, it is still a pattern recognition system. It is not human consciousness. That is something that I want to let everybody know. It is still a pattern recognition systems. It might feel like when you're talking to it, it is talking to you back like a human. It is just that it has understood so much pattern about humans and all the literature and everything. So it can talk like human, but it is not human. It is not consciousness. Let me just make that very, very clear. So that's what I would say. Before you no need to feel overwhelmed once you understand how it was trained. It is a pattern recognition system. Use it like a tool, like any other tool that you have in your arsenal. But it can. But the difference now is it is in the hand of everyday users, which we did not have access to. Even when internet came, computers came, nobody directly had access. Internet was in like major labs in the beginning. It took a while before it started coming to homes. Even computers, it took a while coming to homes. But with AI now, you have direct access. In fact, companies like ChatGPT, all they are giving you free access as well. Obviously they have their own intentions behind it, but nonetheless, you have access and this power. So I would say, no need to feel overwhelmed. Start using it.
Yeah.
Understand it's a pattern recognition system.
Start small and then grow, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So before we go to the next question, I just want to acknowledge some people that have showed up. Janet Zajac, she goes, I'm here. I'm happy that you're here.
Oh, hey.
Yes. And Brianne, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. We also have, what is that, 4 Next Level Wellness. Go Raj.
Nice.
So
Thank you.
So that's great. Thank you, everybody, for coming on this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. And what I want to ask you is, what are people getting completely wrong about AI right now?
I feel like this is where I always remind people of this statement that I heard in the TV series Ted Lasso. There is one scene in where he says, "Be curious, not judgmental."
Yes.
I feel like there is so much fear and judgment around AI today, and I feel like it's a very, I understand, fear comes from misunderstanding, uncertainty. It is growing so fast, and it is changing so much, and it's growing exponentially. And I think there is still so much of unknown, and there is always fear when there is unknown. Things will get disrupted. Anything that you don't know, people always fear that, and things are moving so fast. So I can understand people kind of fearing it, right? Fear,
Yes.
it will take my job away. It will, it'll replace me. It'll replace my judgment. This feels like magic. It always lies. It hallucinates. There is so much of judgment around that. But I would say, there is short-term danger. Yes, jobs will be disrupted. Industries might be disrupted. People will feel the pain a lot in the short term. I always feel like what people get wrong is we are overestimating the short-term danger posed by AI, while we are underestimating the long-term impact of what AI can do for you, right?
Yeah.
And this is with any disruption, even with internet, with mobile phone, the way things got disrupted. But look at all the different industries it opened up, all the possibilities it opened up. I mean, I was talking to you, Don, right? Imagine in the year 2000, would you have ever thought that I will be able to use my own car to drive a stranger and make money out of it?
No.
Would you ever thought that I can actually make money from the spare room in my own home?
Right.
Uber made it possible. Airbnb made it possible. We would, and imagine people. Can you imagine in 2000 when internet came? You would think that there will be an industry where where people will just share videos and become a billionaire. People would have thought that you are crazy, but it happened, right? It opened a whole new world that we could not even imagine back then. I'm saying the same thing about AI. It is moving so fast, a lot of fear, but I would say, be curious, not judgmental. It will open up areas and industries and work in a way that we can't even imagine today. And the pace at which is growing, how good it is getting, I'm actually very, very positive about the future. It is going to make our lives better. That is my honest opinion. And I feel like people get completely wrong about that. They are looking at the
Yeah.
short-term danger, which is there, which is real. But I feel like also look at the long-term impact that we can have on humanity in general.
Yeah, no, that's true. So how can an average person, not techie, start using AI today?
Yeah, I honestly, I know it's very easy to say, but I will say it. Just start. That's all I will say.
Oh,
Don't sit on the sidelines. Don't be skeptical. Don't be fearful. Just start. How do you
that,
start? Anything that you have ever been curious about in your life, right? Ask AI. Anything you ever wanted to be. Like, I'll give a good example. I always felt like, why do mosquitoes not come in the morning? Why are they only coming in the night? I didn't know. I just asked AI. It gave me the answer. you know See, just start about curiosity. Everybody is curious in life, right? You have so many things in your mind, your challenges, your struggles, whatever you have. Ask. Just start and ask. Then brainstorm. You can brainstorm ideas with it. If you're stuck somewhere, struggling somewhere, start with that. One
yes.
couple of things that you can really benefit from is throw in your resume. Give your resume. Tell it, what do you think about my resume? Does it? How does? You can even pretend like an HR executive or an HR person reading my resume. What is he thinking about my resume, line by line? It'll actually impersonate an HR person and tell you what he thinks about your resume. And then you can tell, okay, update it now. It'll actually give you tips on how to update. Same thing goes with LinkedIn profile. The LinkedIn profile is so prominent these days. You can actually give it an existing LinkedIn profile and tell it, change it, make me however you want to about it. It'll give you feedback first, then try to do things in LinkedIn profile. The other thing is preparing for interviews. Practice. Tell him, I'm going to this company. This is the position that I'm going. Give it like the job description of the position you're interviewing with. It can actually act as an interviewer to you and ask you all the difficult questions from the interview. You can start using it that way.
These are all great points. I think I guess what it is, the bottom line is just get out there and start using it.
Yes, that's what I said.
And
Just
it's
start.
simple, small, just start.
Just start. And then
Yes.
honestly, once you start using, you yourself will get so much ideas. Next thing you know, you will not be able to live without it.
Exactly. So what's one simple AI tool or trick that could save people time immediately?
I feel that a lot of people are not using the voice mode in AI.
Oh, okay.
We are still like typing and asking questions. We can always speak faster than we can type. I feel like you can use it in voice mode and then ask questions. Then when you're driving or when you're walking, anything, even if you have your phone nowadays, right? You can actually
Yes.
ask. Because ChatGPT has a mobile app as well, so it's available on the move as well. It is not just on your computer. I would say start using voice mode. That will honestly, because you feel like, okay, I'll ask ChatGPT when I go home. No, you have your voice. Go on your walk. Just talk to it.
Get your answer right away.
Yeah, it give you a response right away. It give you, in fact, if it gives you some answers, and then you want to basically, you got some ideas based on the answers, you can even tell it, take a note about this, so that when I go home, you can ask him, give me all the notes that we discussed on my walk today. It'll actually give you back whatever, any ideas you had, tell you to save it. If you want to schedule something, you do it through voice. I would suggest, whenever something comes to you, just ask it or tell it to do something about it. Awesome. And then one thing that I use where I save a lot of time is honestly with these summarizing these podcasts on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have noticed, these YouTube podcasts are increasing. It used to be like half an hour, 45 minutes. Now it is like 3 hours, 4 hours. Nobody has the time to sit for that.
No, you've got to. I don't know if I can sit there for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So I save a lot of time by downloading the transcript and it just giving it to ChatGPT.
That's a great point. Great point. So
and it's not just giving me the answer, summarizing it. It is summarizing it based on what it knows about me, what will be applicable to me. So I don't need to learn about everything, only summarize what is applicable to you. That is the fastest way to save time as well.
That's a great point. Great point. Thank you for sharing that. So what are your what are you personally using AI for?
Oh yeah, like I mentioned, right? If I say be curious, not judgmental, I am one of the most curious guys you'll ever see. I am always asking. You know how they say there is nothing called as a stupid questions. but sometimes ChatGPT might think that my questions are stupid.
No, not at all.
I
Hey, you
explore,
learn from that.
all my curiosity with AI.
Oh,
I use it for brainstorming. That is where it has completely changed. It has helped me become a much better thinker. And the thing is, and I do brainstorming by actually training ChatGPT, telling it that, you know what, don't tell me things that will make me feel good. Tell me the brutal truth. Tell me honestly. Find holes in my thinking. Challenge me on my thought process. Once I gave those instructions, it was amazing how it became my brainstorming partner.
it
That
didn't
is,
hurt your feelings, did you? Did it?
oh, honestly, this is funny story. I was telling my wife the other day. It started pushing back at me at things, and then suddenly I realized, man, she's turning into my wife now. You know?
Oh God.
So it's
Oh
like,
boy.
and I told my wife, she laughed. So she said, okay, I realize now you want nagging, but nagging at your own time.
Yeah, exactly. So how is AI changing the way people are doing and running their business?
So I think the more and more that I'm seeing, I think it all starts with better organization of information and data. Because in any business, it's all about making decisions, right? Even any
Right.
task that you do, it is all about making decisions. And your decisions is going to be as good as the data that you have organized, right? Now, data
True.
is in silos in so many places. It could be in emails, it could be in SOPs, it could be in some videos, it could be in meeting recordings, it could be in somebody's mind, it could be in somebody's thought process. So I think what they are starting to do is they're organizing data in one place so that it becomes like kind of like a brain of business. This is my business brain essentially. And
Mm,
once they have all the data in one place, people are starting to leverage that data for all the different tasks that they use. Communications is faster. Customer support becomes much easier. Content creation, depending on your business wise, becomes so much easier. You can do faster research. Like for example, in lawyers, in case of a law firm, right? They have all that thing fed into the data in one place.
yeah.
Earlier, it used to take them to research on any law that they do, any case that they do. That is so much faster now, basically.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah,
then
oh, yes.
also the lot of the repetitive work that they do, answering the same questions over and over again from customers, AI can actually take that and keep doing it for you all day. Even when you're sleeping, if you have like a nice customer support assistant created, it can
Mhm.
run 24/7 now.
Well,
Yeah.
this is you're mentioning all these things that are really great examples of how AI can help you run your business. But do you think AI will replace the way we run our business?
I think AI is not going to replace businesses, but I feel like businesses using AI thoughtfully and mindfully will outperform businesses who are still ignoring it. You know what I mean? If two businesses
Hmm.
start at the same time, one business is very skeptical about AI, fearful about AI, that they don't even act. And one business who is looking at with curiosity, trying different things, just starting to use it. And let's say this business which started to use it are 6 months ahead from the business was just thinking, you will be surprised with this exponential growth in AI, the gap will be so huge that they will never be able to catch up. That's
Oh,
why I always keep encouraging businesses that, what, start, because people are, every single business is looking into it, including your competitors, right? You don't
definitely.
want your competitors using AI getting ahead of you so far that you can't even catch them, basically. That's what I always say. And one thing I will also say that even with AI, think of it still as a tool. It is a tool in your arsenal. It is one of the best PhD level, very, very smart Einstein level brain tool. Okay. But it is still in the end a pattern recognition system. It's a tool. So when I say that, humanity still matters. Even
Oh,
in a
yeah,
business,
definitely.
human trust still matters, relationship still matters, empathy still matters, judgment still matters. So AI should, amplify humans. It is not going to remove our humanity.
Oh, definitely
That's
not.
the best way I would like to explain for businesses.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah. So, what should business owners start paying attention to when they come to AI?
Like I mentioned, right? Be curious, not judgmental.
Hmm.
That is like a mantra. Probably I keep saying.
Oh,
So I would
yes.
say learn about AI. Learn some fundamentals about AI. There is so much information available. In fact, the best way to learn about AI is to ask AI. Ask AI. I want to learn about you, how you were built. what can you do in my business? These are my challenges that I'm struggling with. Can you help me with it? Learn something. And I would say, from a leadership standpoint, make your team also curious about AI instead of kind of instilling some fear about them, because it comes from leadership, right? If the leadership is
Yes.
fearful, they are skeptical, it trickles down to the teams, right? Even they will
Yes.
be fearful about using AI, right? So I feel like, learn fundamentals, be curious, start small, take a even simple thing as responding to emails, summarizing documentation. Look at simple automations that you can do. Start small. The more you start using, the more ideas you will get, the more better it gets. And then you can even start brainstorming. I'm stuck here, I'm struggling here, what can I do, how can I change things here? You will be surprised. It has all the answer. Honestly, it is just waiting for you to ask the right questions.
Yeah. No. So there's a lot of fear about AI,
Yeah,
around AI. Should people be concerned about this?
that's a good question. Honestly, I feel like you should be cautious, and healthy caution is good. But blind fear is not helpful. It's not helping anyway. If you're not
Mhm.
even doing anything because you're fearful, you're skeptical, that's also not good. It can't be both extremes. But and
Totally.
like I said, right, every major technology shift creates fear because of the unknown, right? Internet
Yeah.
created fear, smartphones created fear. So AI, I understand the fear. It's absolutely changing jobs. In some people, many of them are even losing jobs as we see in the technology world, right? But like I mentioned, it will still create opportunities that we cannot fully imagine. So I feel like businesses and us as people who stay adaptable and are curious will do well. It doesn't matter, what technology shift happen. Curiosity and adaptability will always serve you. You know. So I feel to your point, to answer a question, curiosity is a far better response than panic or fear.
True. Yeah. So what are the biggest mistakes people are making when they use AI right now?
I feel like, obviously, not understanding to begin with, not learning some fundamentals about AI, and then I'm starting to notice they're just trusting AI blindly now. And then I have even seen scenarios where they are just sharing sensitive information in Chat GPT. They'll just drag drop a document which might have sensitive information. They'll start asking questions and everything, and then honestly, they're expecting perfection.
Yes.
I keep telling that, what, working with AI is a very iterative process. It's a lot of back and forth that happens. I think that is something that people are trying to expect. I give you this thing, give me something. You didn't get what you wanted. You start blaming AI. You know what? This is not right. They just
Well,
give
I
you
want to
the
I
AI.
want to blame AI right now because we had our feed. So I apologize. There's a technical problem. The
Yeah.
Facebook, we were running Facebook on here,
Uh-huh.
and then it disconnected in the interim. But we're on still on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So if you can, if you're out there, jumped over to LinkedIn, you should be able to jump on and see the show. I mean, we're still getting
Okay.
good feedback. So
Okay. Yeah.
so and hopefully the replay will play on Facebook. But I
Okay.
just wanted
That's
to
good
add
news.
that extra note. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
where
would
do
like to
you
also, no, I would like to also add something to the
yes.
mistakes that people are making. What I'm seeing more and more now, I feel like people are starting to outsource their thinking and critical thinking to
Mm,
AI now, which is something I don't really like people doing that. It is trusting too much too early, I feel. And then I feel like they're chasing hype about AI instead of honestly seeing how you can solve real problem. And I think I have to understand, AI is not going to replace human wisdom. Human has to always be in the loop. It can help you understand patterns, recognize all the things that you cannot possibly see by yourself, because our brain is limited, right? But it has so much
true.
capacity in AI. So, but you don't just blindly trust it or blindly give it away your thinking.
Some people
People
are it
need
maybe
critical
not
thinking.
be yeah, it may not be blindly thinking, but maybe everybody's in a hurry.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like,
true. That's
hurry
true.
up and give me an answer.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
exactly.
It's a good answer. Now I can go on to the next thing. So
Exactly.
I think it may not be just being, blind. It may just be that time
Yeah,
management. Okay,
totally.
I've got the
Yes.
next thing I gotta do, or you overschedule
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. So
But
I
you're
would say
right.
just take a step back,
Yes.
take a breathe.
Yes.
Just breathe.
Yes,
Let's see
and
what it
as it
really
is,
is.
breathe.
Yeah, just
Yes,
breathe essentially. That's all I'm saying.
yes, I
All right.
agree with you. So, where do you see AI going in the next 3 to 5 years?
I feel honestly it will be so much integrated into our lives that it will become normal. Like AI assistants will become normal, just like our GPS we have today. Nobody questions GPS. Look at the
No.
Amazon shopping. Look at all the Netflix. They all use AI.
You
Without us
said
even knowing.
GPS. The
GPS,
GPS,
yes, GPS.
before it came out, I would be driving around without
Yeah,
GPS with that big Atlas map book,
yes, I remember
trying to
that
figure
actually.
out where I was going,
Going
you know,
exactly.
and
So
it
now
was
it has become
GPS.
so
Yes,
normal for us. Even shopping with Amazon or Netflix recommendations or anything like that, right? They're all using
definitely.
AI, like a very, very like advanced level of AI, but we don't question, we are just used to it now. I feel like we will become so much used to it with AI integrated into our life. Maybe voice-based interaction will become normal. Anything that you want to do, just tell it, and it'll actually do it for you. And then we'll see a lot of integration with everyday tools that we use. One thing that I'm excited for is because you're using AI so much, it will know so much about you and your context that that learning will become personalized. Everything will become so personalized with AI that it is doing specifically things for you in your style, in the way you like it. Same thing goes with small businesses. I feel like small businesses will start using AI without even realizing it, honestly.
You're
And I also
probably
see a
right.
huge
Yeah.
transformation in educational knowledge work, and I feel in the end, I'm just waiting for the day when AI becomes more proactive instead of reactive. It might actually start telling you before you even knew, because it has all these predictions and all, it has all access to all the data. It'll actually become more proactive in giving you things rather than you even knowing that you needed something.
Wow. No,
Yeah.
that's something. That is amazing. Jenny is on. I'm going to pop up. Jenny Georgios.
Yeah.
She's in one of our networking groups. She's also a part of the SBA.
Yes. Hey, Jenny.
100%. And it's true. And she agrees. People need to think for themselves because,
Absolutely.
people forget about that. They
Yes.
forget that they have to maybe correct it or reword
Yes.
something. So, excellent. Thank you, Jenny, for joining us on this episode. I do appreciate it. And we have Ashvin. Is
Mhm.
it Lima? He
Ashwin,
said
yeah.
he must. Do you know him?
Yes, I know him.
Yeah, well, say hello. He goes, Raj, why does AI hallucinate so much? Why
That is
does it
honestly a
seem to
that is
be
honestly a
here?
very
Yeah.
that's honestly a very good question, right? See, the thing is, the way AI has been trained, apart from the model, OpenAI, they do a lot of fine tuning to the model as well. The whole idea is they have fine tuned it to become like a nice assistant that helps you, right? Its sole purpose is to help you in whatever task that you're trying to achieve. And the thing is, because it wants to help you, it goes through, if you ask a question, it goes through all the patterns and recognitions that it has done, right? You have to understand it's a pattern recognition. It's basically pattern recognition, right? It goes
Yes.
through all the patterns and starts to formulate the answers. And if the answers has some gaps in them, right, because it wants to help you, it will start filling those gaps, making the best guess that it can. You see what I'm saying? And
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
it can guess right, sometimes it can guess wrong. Honestly, it is just like humans. If you don't have all the information, even our mind tries to fill those gaps, right? Sometimes,
Well, you
sometimes
even said it all depends on the percentage of how
yeah,
right that answer is
how
for
right that
you.
answer is exactly. But
Yeah. So
because it is designed to help you, it starts to fill in this gap. And sometimes the gaps are correct, sometimes it is not right. That's where you call it like a hallucination. It is trying to actually help you and trying to fill in the gaps because it wants to help you. And in fact, honestly, to avoid hallucination, you can actually even ask it, give me some sources where you got this information. Ask it to cite some sources from where it got, then go to those
yeah.
sources, and then you can double check the answers.
Awesome. So what's something coming with AI that would shock people watching today?
I think one thing is obviously the pace of growth. It is honestly growing at a way faster pace than I myself anticipated, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many people know this. A lot of these billionaires, they have this bet going on. when they will have a one person business making $1 billion, one person running a business at scale using all the AI agents, and it's a 1 billion in revenue. I think
Wow.
when somebody sees that, they will be shocked that this one guy using AI became a billionaire.
That would be crazy. Hopefully it'll be
Absolutely.
me, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And then, I feel like we are not there. Even your voice and video generation, they will become so realistic. I feel like people will get shocked. Even now, it is actually getting there, but you can still feel a little bit, it is off when you see. But I
Yeah.
feel like, it will become so realistic, you will be able to not distinguish. And like I mentioned before, right? Talking to like computers will become very normal. You will be surprised, like, I mean, we are talking to computers now.
Yeah.
You know
Just
what
as
I mean?
long as they don't talk back.
Yeah, exactly. And then we will have assistants, like I mentioned, voice and talking will become normal to devices, which
Oh
is what
yeah.
right now I feel we're not there as yet. We're still texting, we're still doing things, but I feel like people will be shocked given some time how normal it will become talking to computers that way.
Well, I know you're very excited about AI, Raj. I
Yes.
mean, because what excites you the most about what you're doing right now?
That is a very honestly a good question you asked me. Like I mentioned in the beginning, there is so much of fear and skepticism around the AI. So
Hmm.
what I feel like with my knowledge and experience, and because I was so curious, I have learned the fundamentals of AI from first principles thinking. Right, I can go to the very smallest version of AI to where it is today, and I can actually, with my own storytelling experience and all, I can actually weave a nice story where people can learn about AI from the very absolute fundamentals to where we are today. And I have done that in 2 3 settings, and when I see people's eyes lit up once they understood how simple this is, I explained them in simple everyday terms, no technical jargon, very simple everyday words. And when a lot of these small businesses who were skeptical about AI, they understood about AI, they realized that this is nothing to be fearful about. And then they immediately to the next step. Raj, how can you help us implement this in our business? Now that I understand, I don't want to stop now. Let's continue with. That is honestly, that brought me so much joy that I was able to transform people's minds from fear about AI to actually to start use AI. That is something that excites me so much. And then I feel like I have somehow made them more curious now than what then instead of fear, seeing them switch to curiosity, honestly that lights me up. I
Oh, and
made
I
someone
can tell.
curious
I can
about
tell it's when
it.
you're in a class because I did one of you did you spoke in front of us, a couple
Yeah.
of people, more than a couple of people, about AI and introducing AI to everybody. And when you're when you're talking, you can just you're just all, I mean, excited to see. And I think you're like even more excited when you see people. The light bulb goes off, and it's like,
Exactly,
wow, yeah,
exactly.
I'm kind of getting this thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so if somebody wants to learn AI but feel stuck, what advice can you give them?
Honestly, like I mentioned in the beginning, right, just start. That would be the one. I'm assuming you started using. And honestly, if you feel stuck, the best way to get unstuck is actually go back to AI again. I'm stuck with this thing. How can you give me some ideas on how I can unstuck with this?
Yes.
You can honestly ask AI itself. If you feel stuck about it, ask it. Be curious about it. I'm stuck here. This is what I am thinking. What do you think? Is there something that I'm missing in my thinking which can help me become unstuck? Just talk to AI about that. You will be so surprised that it will actually understand what you want. It will give you ideas. It will give you a hint, and you will be unstuck so fast. You will be surprised. Why didn't I do this before? And I would say, keep staying curious. Experiment every day. I would say keep trying it. Keep experimenting it.
I like that.
It's a very iterative process,
Hmm.
right? So I would say learn through using it, not just reading about it, not through theory, not through watching videos and getting fascinated by look what this guy did in this YouTube video. I would say day by day, just keep making progress. Don't expect perfection. Okay, like Ash mentioned, right? It hallucinates sometimes. It won't be
Yeah.
perfect. perfect, but there is no reason to not use it. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no, I
Yeah,
think I like what you said. Keep curious.
yeah, yeah. Be
Keep
curious.
curious
And then,
because if you're not
and honestly,
curious, you're
you
not
don't.
learning.
Yeah, and honestly, you don't need to become an expert to really benefit from
No.
AI.
Mm-mm.
You just have to be comfortable with the learning. I'm learning something new with AI, and I'm actually using AI to teach me a lot of things, and I'm just becoming more and more comfortable. You don't need to be an expert to derive real value from AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have a little fun. We're going to play a game. We're going to get to know Raj even better on a personal level. So what I'm going to do, Raj, is I'm going to just do quick rapid fires. First thing that comes to mind so first thing that comes to mind, all right? Are you ready?
Yes,
ChatGPT or Google?
ChatGPT.
AI tool you can live without.
Oh, that's easy. ChatGPT.
One word to describe the future of AI.
I would say humankind. I would
Humankind.
like to elaborate a little bit because I feel like even with AI doing so much, we should still not lose our humanity. Humanity is
True.
always going to be there.
Yeah,
We should all
exactly.
collectively use AI to make us better humans. You know,
I like that you
that
said
that's what
that.
that's
Yes,
what I would leave you with. That's why I feel. I know transformation would be the right word, but I still feel humankind is the right word.
I like that. I really
Yeah.
do like that. It says it all. It really does. Now, this is the most important question that I'm going to ask you. Coffee or tea while working with AI?
Honestly, I do both.
You
So
do.
I do need coffee when I'm deep in my AI work, when I'm building things
I
where I
need
need to
coffee.
focus. I need coffee. There is nothing that can actually help me without that. And when I'm done, when I'm relaxing and I want to reflect on something, that's when I switch to tea. And that is usually towards the evening. I have green tea with honey. I take it,
That
and
sounds
that
good.
relaxes me. It relaxes me when I want to reflect on something. I don't want to be kind of like hyper with coffee at that time. I want to relax.
You
I want
want
to
to
soothe
relax.
myself. So
So
tea is
you like hot
yeah.
or cold? Hot or cold?
Oh, I everything hot, coffee and
Everything
tea both.
hot.
I
All right.
somehow I could never understand how people drink like cold tea or coffee. I could never get used to it.
Iced tea on a cold hot day with a little lemon in it. I could do that. I
Yes,
could
I
do that.
think honestly, I fell in love with sweet tea when I went to Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the very first time, honestly, to be honest with you, that was the very first time I had a cold drink, tea, like
Really?
cold. And I was fascinated. Like it is, and they make it so sweet. And I thought that this is how the tea will be all across US. When I
It's
come to Chicago, they don't even give sweet by default. You have to add
no.
sweet, and it's
If
never the
you're
same.
a diabetic, you don't need to be
I know,
drinking that type of a tea.
I know. But that is when I felt like, iced tea, that is a thing of beauty. I love that
Oh,
actually over there.
yeah. Well, Raj, this has been incredible. I think what people are realizing is AI isn't going away. I
Yeah,
think, but how you use it matters,
yes.
right? Right. Raj, before we end, I would like you to take a moment and reach out to our business owners out there and tell them what you do and how they can reach you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, right, one of my passion and my goal is to help local businesses become friends with AI. And I use the term very deliberately. I want local businesses to become friends with AI. Treat it like a friend, not somebody that you fear, not somebody that you're skeptic about. you know Let it come into your world, let it help you, let it help you with some practical grounded way of adopting it, and then let it brainstorm with you, let it understand your business. And I'm here to actually close the gap. If you're fearful, you have started with AI, you have some challenges with AI, you're still skeptical about AI, there are a lot of unknown things about AI, that should not stop you from using it. And I'm here to fill that gap. That can be a bridge where you're basically starting to use AI, challenging with AI, where I can take it to actually get inside your business, make your life so much better, you will actually be surprised, why did I not do this sooner, right? And my one of my skills is I can explain in a very simple first principles thinking about AI, and I can guide you any question you have. I don't use a lot of technical jargons. Even today, you must have noticed in my podcast here today, I don't use a whole lot of technical jargons. I try to keep it very simple, very practical for local businesses. And I have a lot of offerings. I do workshops. I can do consulting. If you want to do some brainstormings with me, you want to help some AI systems, I can help you with that. All of that information is available on my website, www.theaiguy.dev. And I'm a strong believer in education, before selling. Before I even come to offer you my services, I would love to start with educating you about AI, because I feel like there is still a lot of unknown around AI, and I can help you close that gap, and then help together not only close that gap, but also take you to grow your business, and take it to the next level. And it's not going to replace our business. It's about helping good businesses operate smarter. You know, I'm telling you, start learning now instead of waiting. For perfectly. Let me understand this. Let me still wait and see. I would encourage people to start learning and take my help. To get through that hurdle.
Well, Raj, thank you so much. I think we've gotten to know you a lot better, especially your coffee and your tea. And I enjoyed having you on this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. Also everybody out there, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or even just curious about what's happening in the real estate market in today's market, especially how technology can change and help out with certain things, I'd be happy because I use technology when I market my homes. Video is big for me. I don't know, you might have seen me out there, but video is big for me, and it's a great way to get your home out there, expose it to a number of people, and in a fun way. So I'm all about that. So you can call the expert on the block. I've got you covered. Raj, I want to get the
Yeah,
AI guy.
John, can I add something?
Yeah.
I think you should talk about how you use AI. I mean, I see the videos that you post on Facebook. Hey guys,
How I use AI.
if you have not checked out Dawn's videos on Facebook, check it out. She is amazing when it comes to making videos.
I
I mean,
thank
I'm
you.
fascinated every single time you upload something. I always look at carefully, and I wonder, wow, look at Dawn. She's actually putting AI in practice.
Well, AI is good,
Yeah,
but sometimes I think the real you getting out there and speaking like this is
yeah,
really getting to know. Ever since they got you rid of Sora, I've
yeah.
been lost because Sora was that what made the videos more animated and it kind of, there was a story behind it. I was more animated. It was great. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. And when they got rid of it, I was totally depressed. But I'm trying to pick myself up and use other platforms.
Yeah.
Now I'm using Hey Gen.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see how that can be used within my business. But I'm not yet. It doesn't compare to Soros, but
I
I'm
see.
trying to. Gotta say I'm still working at that.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. So I'm
Yeah.
still
No, but
still
yeah, but
working
I
at
would
it.
just like to tell people your videos are amazing, to watch. I always enjoy watching those.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your giving me the plug out there about my videos. And again, if anybody is out there and it's give me, say hi. I would love to talk to you. I mean, my focus is on helping people get more people in your home so you can get the highest price possible when marketing your home. And I have the technology and the ideas that how I can showcase your home. So I definitely would be open to have a conversation with you, a cup of coffee, which I'm sure Raj would do the same thing. So,
Yeah.
so what I would like to do is I would like to say thank you to Raj for being on this episode of Meet the Expert on the Block. I'm working on another expert on the block for next month. So be on the lookout for it. What I'll do is when I've got it locked down, I'll have to put a little video out there and let everybody know. But until then, I want to wish everybody a great week weekend because it's
You can, yeah,
Thursday. I usually
almost
do it
there.
on Wednesday. So I
Almost
want
there.
to wish everybody a great week. And Raj, thank you again for
Yeah, thank
being
you
on
so
this
much, Don. Thank you
episode.
for inviting me to your show. I really appreciate it. I
All
always
right.
love talking to you. We
You're
don't talk too much,
welcome.
I
You're
always
welcome.
love.
I enjoy talking to you about this. You know this so well because you are the AI guy.
Yeah, thank you so
So
much, Don.
until we see you guys again, everybody make it a great week. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.